poke. If they can get vision control, I mean, look, if you go Jace, you have so much poke, it's actually insane. Like, could this be any more poke?
No, I don't think so. unless you play like a poke support. I don't know which poke support you put in the bottom lane alongside a center, but you could theoretically do that. Yeah, this is going to be the Jace into the Sion, and is a difficult one for Sion to deal with. Early, I think that T1 are going to have a lot of control at the earlier stages of the game. I think there is a bit of onus on BDD to get his mid lane under wraps and allow Clid to get around his jungle and possibly mitigate the push that Can is going to put out. Scaling option here, but gives them hard engage, and Genji needs hard engage if they're going to take down T1. This has to be decisive.
Many Udyrs with the Zoe because it gives you such vision control. Lily's not bad at that, especially into a grave. She can be quite good as hold that thought.
Yeah, Carrier taking a lot of damage here. Taken down low, has to use the exhaust to get Ruler out of it. Now Teddy able to follow up very nicely. Rend just to say no to Carrier, as the Pierce not going to do too much there, but as well.
Even going to come at the
ignite. That was close. As now we're looking to try and get this dive onto Rascal. He flashes. Turret aggro picked up by Cuz and held onto absolutely beautifully. Great gank up there, and we mentioned that T1 playing around topside should be an inevitability. And so Genji, I think their spidey senses are tingling just a little bit here, understanding that there could be just another visit towards the top side. Rascal desperately trying to get towards his turret. Spear is going to miss, and Rascal's now just hopefully trying to deal with these minions. Oh no, knockup does land onto Cuz. He's still got turret aggro, but he's able to hop out of the way to the skies from Canna. He has to flash. Is he just dead? No! Gets the level up just in time.
Cuz gonna look for one more spear. It's not over yet.
Oh, Rascal's gonna get out of the way. Soul Furnace back available once again, and now Clid's finally gonna move on up. Herald.
Look at the timing of this too.
Yeah, right.
Teddy gets in, out of vision. He is just seen. Pings come down. Clid cannot contest. He's gonna look for a smite steal.
Oh, okay. That's not, he just walks up to it and says thanks. Okay, well, that's one way of losing the Rift Herald.
That's unbelievable.
They can get the eye though.
That's unbelievable that happened, Atlas. Like, he actually just walks up and takes it.
Yeah, Cuz gonna have to try and get out of the way here as Clid. BDD finally there. The train leaves the station. I don't think anyone... Oh, yes, it was. So the drive-by collection of the eye was successful there for Rascal.
Yeah, there's just no way you can mitigate this, and they also have the Rift Herald drop. They're going to try to turn this into a Drake play as well. Like, it feels like Genji are just out-macroing here. The value Teddy's getting on the top side is extremely mitigated. Even now with BDD showing up, he's going to get even less. This is definitely a trade that you want to take as Genji. Is it good enough for their composition later on? It's hard to say right now, it's hard to judge, but with the 2 Drake advantage, the extra gold that's given over to Ruler now, and the fact that Genji had these really early is somewhat worrying in a different scenario, but because it's Cloud, I feel like T1 have a little bit more wiggle room as Kana really wants this plate.
Yeah, he's pretty desperate.
He's going to get it too.
Yep, finds it, but you know, he's going to get decimatingly smashed. There's a raise in the area, gets the flash out from Kana. That one was free. There's now Clid coming on over. He's going to get distracted by a control ward. There's a big teleport to come through from Rascal as Shirley is the prize, and now T1 get to set up with their poke. Let's see how it's going to be utilized as Clid dodges that spear. Shock blast absorbed by Rascal, who's now getting tired, and the spear will connect now as well as
reset.
Shirley is going to reset, and Canna gets to work on this turret. Remember, his W makes it very easy to do a lot of damage to these in a very short period of time.
If somebody gets low like this, it's just so hard to teamfight as Genji anymore. You know, even though they had the positional advantage and they were in prime position with the the power spike that they have at this point in the game before T1 actually get all their items online, they still just can't do it if T1 gets free poke like that.
Yeah, and I mean this is exactly what T1's comp is designed to do, right?
And it gets
stand around in the river like this, and they are just going to benefit. Mid lane and T1 now thinking about moving towards their next objective that they can set up a control around.
Genji, these are the kind of Drakes where, because you have 2 advantage and it's Cloud, I don't know if you need to fight this as Genji because you're walking into a team that's chipping away at you every step of your way in, and that's, if you get to the Drake, by the time you get there, will you have enough health to fight after that? I don't think the answer is yes, and they are able to dodge that spear, but they need to commit.
Carrier in a little bit of trouble here as Rascal rounds the corner. That is a decent sleep onto Ruler, but no one's able to follow up. Carrier tanking so much damage, and Rascal not able to find the smash. Now is the time when T1 thrives, though, as Faker does find Rascal. They've got so much more sustain. Teddy, not a massive amount of mana, but see the damage? Clid getting chunked. Faker darting forward to find Rascal. They still have vision of this, and Rascal is going to get snared. He's still very tanky, so should be able to get himself out of the way, but has these health bars been taken down low enough? T1 also struggling a little bit. Teddy only has about one more Piercing Darkness available with his mana pool, so both teams...
He does a ton of damage,
yeah,
but it's just so difficult to do so that it might not matter. They might have missed their window to really snowball this game.
And we haven't seen any showstoppers really do very much from Life as well. Like,
yeah.
I want to see the set get in there and actually try to put T1 out of position. Kill him. They kill the Devourer as well, right? He's the most pickable target right now. As, okay, here comes the train. Another flash comes out from Canna. That was already back up since their last fight. As Kemp Tank comes down, great knock up. And Clid should have the damage for this one. Canna just out of position, pushing up a little bit too far. Now Genji in a 4 versus 5 scenario, but there's 4 minutes left on this Drake. What are you really fighting for?
Yeah, exactly.
At this stage of the game, as Faker jumps on over, he'll find the bubble.
Onto
Clid as BDD flashes in front of the Battlestar to keep his jungler alive, and now Ruler finds Faker, who may be overextended. Fate's Call is going to land under the Tahm Kench as Faker spends so much time in his belly, but it means that Carrier gives up his life. Well, BDD going to get snared up. Life now in position to try to defend. Clid makes his way through, and now Teddy might be out of position. Devour going to be used, but now it's on cooldown. There's Scatter the Weak. Canna is dead once again, and here's the re-engage. Ulti comes through Cuz. Goes golden to mitigate it. Clid going to survive, and now the showstopper comes in. He's dead, actually, because there's no Fate's Call to keep him alive. However, now Faker could be in trouble, and this is not the kind of fighting that T1 wants. Ruler in trouble. Yeah, this turret is 100% the MVP as Pierce does a lot of work onto Faker, and Genji are bullied out of the way for now.
I mean, it's not just the CS that he was also given. His sleep does connect.
Yeah, and Life is going to take a hell of a lot of damage. There's Dawning Shadow, and Fate's Call mitigates it for now, but that is so many resources just to keep Life alive, and now he has to go home anyway. So, T1 will be able to grab their second Cloud Drake, and I want to apologize yet again. Like, think about if this was
If this is Infernal or Ocean, yeah, it's a different story.
I mean, if it's Ocean, it's like infinite mana, and then you just like get all of your health back. If you can actually, you know, stay at arm's length from Genji, they're going to be able to turn and win a 4 versus 3 is okay. Now it's just body blocking. Spear going to connect. Ruler in a little bit of trouble. Does have a lot of life steal, so should be able to just use this wave to get himself back up. Oh no, Cuz! Going to get taken down solo. The Primal Surge was decent, but that orb will finish him off. That's the jungler dead. And now Genji might think about heading towards this Baron.
They have good vision control here too, Atlas. I mean, there's nothing for T1. They don't have the vision to actually throw these Battle Stars. They have to throw them blind. Well, they have to contest. They have to contest.
Faker will be able to get extra vision utilizing his portal jump, but 4 versus 5 is so dangerous. Life are looking for a little bit of a flank, and it is just going to be taken by Genji. They had the Ren, they had the Smite. No way that T1 could answer, and now maybe out of position as Rascal is hurting Teddy and Carrier. The 2-man Facebreaker is beautiful, and now Carrier needs to try and get over the wall, and he spits Teddy out. He might be safe, but BDD says absolutely not. And he's going to be able to find him exactly the perfect teleport. As Genji, they're actually just, they're farmers. They're farmers. They're hurting T1 right now.
It's out. 30 seconds left on the Baron buff. Oh, look at Life!
Flashing on in, finds the Facebreaker. Faker has to flash out once again. It's going to be Rascal there driving the train forward, and Faker nowhere that he could go. Dawning Shadow isn't saving anyone as Carrier falls down as well. Teddy does have a fair bit of damage. There are lower health bars, but Genji just look inevitable right now. They look
like they want to end the game right now, Teddy.
Oh dear, Rascal just standing in front of him. Yes, that is a hell of a lot of damage, BDD. You have been so good this game. Cuz and Canna against the world. Can they actually do this? But I don't think the answer is yes. Nexus turret number 2 goes down. Genji moved to 2-0 against T1 in the playoffs.
Here, Atlas, but
it's crazy. Like, I actually love the fact that Genji, yeah, they play the reactionary comp first, and then they play the proactive comp, and it's completely different styles. Both of them played very, very well. Still relatively slow, but T1 haven't been able to punish Genji. Their defensive play has just been really, really good. And you can see this time it is Teddy doing a lot of work. Of course, Canna tripling the damage of a Scion is something that's pretty obvious, but once again, BDD, extraordinary on the Syndra. This is a champion that, you know, skill expression is a little bit harder because we've seen so many players do it. The gameplay button exists and we call it that for a reason. But his flanks, his positioning, his picks, his timings, So
This
good.
game,
Genji is already on a match point by taking 2 games in a row, and they looked even stronger in game number 2. Genji highly prioritized that Kalista pick and then locked in Set as the bottom duo. And we could see the power of those two duo. And I can say Genji prepped really hard, drafting around their bottom lane. And T1, just like Genji did, they banned away, even though Jinx, still they countered it with Senna and Tompkins. Usually, Kalista, in a vacuum, you know, she is usually powerful together with Thresh. And once they saw Senna Tompkins locked in by T1, they just skipped the Thresh pick. They rather rotated it to Set, and they had very high priority in lane because they were able to get the Drake as well, which means Senna cannot get that extra souls coming out from the dragon as well. Props over to Genji for preparing this hard for something unexpected on the bottom lane. And Tompkins is not really easy to play up against Set because this champion actually counters this Tompkins Devour because he can re-engage every time he puts his AD carry back to safety. So looking at the Senna Tompkins and Kalista Set matchup, well, in the later game, Senna Tompkins can have their power spike once Tompkins gets enough armor items, but Genji tried something new over here. They actually didn't match the lane up against Senna Tompkins because they knew that in the later phase, Senna Tompkins definitely has the edge over Kalista Set. I think Genji prepared really hard in order to bring some counter strategy into that poke coming out from T1. Now let's take a look at this first highlight where Rascal was having some hard time in both games. In game number 2, especially, he had to teleport back after dying very early and purchasing no item. He was playing under a huge pressure, but after that, he hit level 6 and he was able to, do a fair bit of a tanking work up against Jace. And heading to the mid and late game, Sion can actually exert pressure up against Jace. It was a huge turnaround coming out from Rascal, but something that was expected looking at this champion matchup. T1 had no vision around their side lanes, so Jace was pushing the lane under huge pressure. And together with Graves, Sion was able to chase down that Jace with this active item as well. And BDD, the protection coming out from this Syndra was really heartwarming as well. Flashing in order to block the damage coming out from Zoe was really impressive. I think BDD today, he's been on his best form. And Senna and Tompkins, they are really strong if they have some pressure around their side lanes, if their mid and top can 1-3-1 effectively. Senna and Tompkins is super strong because they can make cross-map play. But looking at the highlight, T1 had no vision around their side lanes, and they were not able to gain any vision around that jungle because Genji already had a bit of a lead at that point in the game. Whereas Genji was able to show off their teamwork. And let's take a look at the second highlight where BDD was able to once again pop off as a main character of a teamfight. So Nidalee gets rid of the ward, which means she reveals herself to Genji's vision, whereas Syndra was hiding outside of T1's vision, so Syndra was able to snipe that Nidalee from the darkness. And they clean up the kill, and Syndra gets her reset after they finished that Baron. It was a very easy Baron for Genji because there was no opponent jungler on the side of T1. And as soon as the Baron got picked up, BDD instantly finds a reset, and we can see the ping going onto that flank ward. BDD and Genji together was setting up for that wraparound team fight. during the regular split, there were some moments where Genji didn't find enough synergy and teamwork, but today I think they were moving as one team, so unified, and they looked as a perfect team together. We are seeing another level of Genji today, and BDD was the clutch player on the side of Genji for sure. Now let's take a look at the player of the game, whether it's going to be BDD or whether it's going to be someone else. It is going to be BDD on Syndra, no doubt. 206 KDA. It's not about BDD doubling the damage coming out from the opponents, but he knew how to suffocate the opponent based on the macro play, and also some of them clutch moments in order to save his teammates was really on point. BDD today looks so chill. He's not in a rush. He knows when he has to go in, but he also knows when he has to just, protect their teammates. He always had firm control of lane, and that much of a winning mentality is actually a huge advantage in terms of a best of 5 series. I think BDD is definitely super calm and collected, performing at this playoffs round number 2. I mean, Tom Kench definitely have an ability to save its teammate, but you cannot save or devour 5 players at a time, and the opponents are diving onto you from 5 different directions. And BDD picks up POG back-to-back today, and I think Genji found another hero on their side. T1 really needs to come back and stop Genji's momentum, so let's move on to game number 3.